Well, hello, Bertie. Today we're here with Dennis Gebhart from Guru Village. Hi,
That's
Dennis.
right. Hi, Patrick. How are you? Hello to everyone who's watching. Glad to you all decided to join us.
Well, you know, you're a well-respected person in the industry. I am very proud to have you on the show because I really respect what you're doing with Guru Village, but also the fact that you've been in so many different situations in this industry and you've come through it and you still have your heart and you still care.
Well, it's been a journey, and of course, you know, you can see that I'm not the youngest guy in the room, but I've had a great experience in this business. You know, it's interesting how I started in the beauty industry. It's my grandmother's fault that I got into hairdressing. Because when I went to live with my grandparents when I was in grade 8, she couldn't afford to go to the beauty salon. So she taught me how to do pin curls, Patrick.
Oh, geez.
And I got pretty good. So my job on Saturday was to set her hair in pin curls. And eventually it wasn't just my grandmother, it was my grandmother and her girlfriends. And I said, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I talked my best friend, Rudy Espinoza, into going to beauty school with me. That's because we wanted to meet girls.
Oh, yeah.
So,
hey,
yay.
This guy too. How you doing?
So we both enrolled in beauty school, and that's how I got into the hairdressing industry.
Yeah.
And when I graduated from beauty school, I got my first job in a salon. I got fired from that first job, by the way. I got fired because I didn't make a shampoo set last for 7 days.
Wow.
It only lasted for 6.
Oh, well, you didn't put enough hairspray, right?
That's right. The client came in, she complained about it, and I said, I'll be happy to do it over. And the owner said, you will, and once you get done, roll up your tools and you're out of here.
Dang. So what happened after that?
Welcome to the industry, right?
Yeah, what happened after that?
So then, you know, I went in search. I knew that I needed to know more about hair color because Rudy's mom was the first one that ever allowed me to do color on her hair. And of course I screwed it up terribly bad with these little highlighting cups. You know, I put like 200 of them in her head, and she was level 2 Puerto Rican hair.
Wow.
So
you got a nice orange.
I got a calico cat because I forgot about her in the back room.
Oh, man.
And so they came to me, they said, hey, did you remember Evelyn's in the back room under the dryer? And I went, oh my God. And I went and I lifted up the head, I had a souffle. So I went in search of what I call my Obi-Wan Kenobi, my Yoda of hair color, and I feel very blessed. I believe I discovered probably one of the best hair colorists in our industry. His name was Sam Lappin.
Okay.
And Sam and his brothers had a salon outside of LA in Santa Monica. And I went to him and I said, look, I'll work for you for free if you'll teach me what you know. And in those days, indentured servantry was legal.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do it today.
Oh, I know.
But those days you could.
Oh, yeah.
So I worked with him for 3 years. And then when I left his employment after...
So what'd you do for a job?
Pardon me?
What'd you do for a job, though?
Oh, I worked with him. I was his assistant.
So you just lived off tips?
Yeah, lived off tips. That's all.
Because when I first started, I had a job in a restaurant at night as well as.
Well, I did that too. I boxed groceries and I played in a band.
Yeah.
So I was working 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
People don't realize that. I say, you guys, sometimes, you know, to learn, you got to give to get, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then when I left his employment, I re-enrolled in school. I went to the University of California in Long Beach, and I was really fortunate. I achieved my degree in chemistry.
Oh, wonderful.
Which led me to a 26-year history with a company called Redken.
Right, which is now obviously owned by L'Oreal.
Which is owned by
But
L'Oreal.
when you guys were doing it, it was...
We were an entrepreneurial company on Kitteridge Avenue in Canoga Park. We had a wonderful... Paula Kent Meehan was the owner of the company. What an amazing story. We were small enough that a marketing meeting was made up of 2 people.
Right.
If you needed something from the lab, you'd walk across the street to the lab and you would get it.
Yeah.
And so I was fortunate enough to work with the team of Dr. Hayel Saeed and Bill Baylor to help develop a couple of products for Redken that many people in the Redken family know me for. Shades EQ was one of them.
Right.
Shades EQ Lightning Crystals was the other, and of course Redken Color Gels. So that was 26 years of being part of education, working as a senior mentor at the Redken Exchange in New York City after Redken moved to New York. And then in 2010, I left Redken and resigned from Redken, went to work for another company that wanted to build.
Okay.
And I was wooed away. Have you ever been wooed away from things?
Nobody would woo me, trust me.
Nobody would woo you.
Just so you know, I'm unemployable. I've heard that many a time. So
Well,
I am unemployable, by the way.
I was wooed away, and we started off in a pretty good program going there. But then they changed leadership in the company, and of course, it was the wrong direction for me. So then, in 2014, I decided I had to make a decision on what I was going to do.
2014.
We still had the salon, but I had to make a decision on what I was going to do. And we sat around and talked one day, and they said, you know, what do you really want to do? I said, well, I want to educate. I want to teach people. I want to provide for them education that's necessary, because I believe in our industry, sometimes the truth gets skewed.
Yeah.
That's
There's
all.
a lot of stories out
Stories,
there. Yes.
a lot of stories.
Yes.
So we formed a company called Guru Village, and we immediately sent out press releases. We sent out letters to distributors. We sent out letters to manufacturers, said, look, we can come in, we'll be your educational arm, we'll do education, non-branded, neutral education, and you can sell whatever product you want to sell. And the distributors looked at me like I was from an alien planet.
Absolutely, yeah.
They went, how can you do that? You don't have a product? I go, no, we do have a product. It's
called education.
Called education.
Right.
But you can use our product to sell your brand. So it was a struggle for the first 18 months or so of the company, but we started getting traction. And now we are starting to get a lot of traction. Social media was very helpful for us.
Right.
You know,
Teaching an old dog new tricks, right?
Amen, brother. And
yeah.
I had some people who wanted to join it. It was the vision, and they believed in the vision, they believed in the cause. And some of them had social media experience, so they helped me understand IG and Facebook and all these other things. And the company has grown tremendously in the last 6 months of this year especially. We've brought on several new gurus to our organization.
Okay, now let's stop right there, because
Yes.
everybody's wondering, what do you consider a guru?
Excellent, thank you, great question. To me, a guru is someone who it's not about time served, it's about knowledge that's retained and experience. I think a lot of people in our industry believe that, well, I've been doing hair for a long time, so I'm a guru. Maybe, maybe not.
You might not have the teaching gene, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so those are the people that I look for. And you will see, if you go to our website, www.guruvillage.net.
Okay, you hear that? www.guruvillage.net.
That's
There's the
right.
plug, okay.
You will see our team is made up of people of various age groups.
Sure.
And the reason for that is because they all have that guru gene, if you will. I believe, actually, whoever you are watching this, you possibly have that guru gene inside of you.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to be part of that, because now we have a lot of people who are really reaching out to us and said, well, I'm not sure I'm a guru, but I want to teach with you, because they believe in what we're teaching. We teach the truth, by the way.
Right.
You know,
and the truth supposedly sets you free, and hopefully it makes you a lot of money, right?
Hopefully it sets you free, and we promise you that what we do teach you will make you a lot of money.
Yes.
Like when we do techniques, I'm not a big fan of a technique that does not allow the hairdresser to go out and generate money off that technique immediately.
A usable technique that your clients actually want, that doesn't take too long.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Exactly. You know, one time I wanted to learn the butterfly technique in foiling when I was just starting in this industry.
Okay.
And I flew to England,
Wow.
where the creator of the butterfly
the
guru of the butterfly technique was. And I attended his educational program. Do you know that it was just the way that he folded the foil that was called the butterfly technique?
Sounds like a way to make some money off fellow stylists, right?
I spent $3,000 to learn
go.
how to fold foils.
Yes.
And so for us, it's what I call return on investment.
Yes.
If you're investing money to learn, then you need to be able to go out and generate revenue off of that as soon as possible. I always say, if you're not generating revenue off what you learn from us within the first 30 days after you've taken the class, you've wasted your money.
I agree. Well, you know, and one thing I will say, because I've been in the industry for a little while as well, over 35, almost 40 years now, and if people would realize that oftentimes they're sold a bill of goods, and that's why they don't go back. That's why they're not building themselves as far as learning new techniques because they've been burnt before.
Right.
Because there's a lot of charlatans out there.
There's a ton.
And a ton of companies that are teaching techniques that are unbelievably a waste of time and completely unusable.
Right.
I mean, how often, most of the stuff you see in NAHA is very artistic, but it's not stuff that you would actually use on clients.
Right.
So our industry kind of went down that path, and unfortunately, it turned people off to education. So I'm loving the fact that you're realizing that and giving people what they need to be successful.
Right. Well, that is our whole vision, our whole mission. In fact, our mantra is empowering salon professionals. We have 10 tenets in which we operate our company by: trustworthiness, integrity, being proactive, seeking truth. We try to allow the salon professional to use us as a resource for the real story as opposed to stories that they've heard. And you know, I have to be honest with you and tell you constantly, because we have a Facebook secret page for our followers who follow Guru Village called the Guru Hair Tribe. And they ask these questions that sometimes I look at the question and I go, well, we should already know that. I don't know why that keeps coming back. But it's because our belief systems are so strong. And really, you know, they're foundational on the person who trained us.
Yeah, they are.
So the person who trained you said, this is the way it is, suddenly that becomes your belief system.
Yeah.
And then someone comes along and gives you information that's contradictory to your belief system, you put this wall up.
Well, a perfect example is everybody thinks that egg whites are where it's at. But actually, when you eat the yolk, that actually lowers your cholesterol.
Yeah.
I'm watching Dr. Oz the other day, and he always used to talk about egg whites.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he goes, you know, I was wrong, and this is the research. And so things do change, guys, you know.
They do.
You have to have an open mind.
That's right. And so that's our goal. And we also try to work with educators who want to learn to facilitate education better. You know, one of the programs that we offer is designed for trainers. It doesn't matter who you teach for.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if you're an independent educator. I always use what I call the glass of water analogy. In other words, if I take a glass of water, let's imagine that this cup is clear.
Nice hairdresser power cup, Dan.
Yeah, this is a great cup to use, isn't it? Hairdresser Power.
Hey, if you want one of these, we have them for sale on our website. I mean, so, you know.
So let's imagine that this is clear.
Yes.
And there's water in it. So my question is always, which is most important, the water or the cup? What do you think? Tell me.
I don't know. I think they're both equally important.
Yeah, everybody's got a reason why,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the metaphor. The water inside is the content. That means that's the words I'm teaching, that's the message I'm giving. The cup,
The vessel.
is the context.
Yeah, the context.
These should be seamless. And so that's what happens many times in education, is that a trainer goes in to do a program, they do an excellent finish, they execute the behavior very well, but the message doesn't transfer because it's not only what you say, it's how you say it. So what we try to do is help salon professionals that want to teach and really have that passion inside of you. And you know, that's the thing. If you want to teach, you've got to love people.
You do. Well, I say when I do beauty school seminars and, you know, I get
Yes.
to talk to young kids, or they're not always young, you know that. But I say, guys, you may be super talented. You may have this amazing ability artistically. But if you don't like people, you're going to have a hard time in this industry.
Amen.
Bottom line.
Amen.
Amen, right?
Yes. So we want to help them, if they want to teach, help them be the most successful they can be. You know, there's a huge difference between teaching or training and sharing. There's nothing wrong with sharing. But if you really want the people to glean that information and be able to use it right away, you have to learn how to make that transfer.
Yep.
So that's what we do as a company, and we're just very excited. We live the vision every day. We're on the phone with each other all day long, pumping each other up, and you know, saying, okay, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? I mean, we've got lots of little things we're doing on social media. We're doing little videos. We do online education, and I know there's lots of people doing online education, but we've had such a huge response, Patrick.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, because you're giving them pertinent things that actually make them better hairdressers, and you're breaking down the trends and the lies. You're changing it. You're opening their minds up. Like, oh, salt's bad for their hair. Really, is it? Why is that? Just because somebody said? No, let's talk about that. And I see you do that. What about the red molecules opposed to the blue molecule? You just got that one. I mean, there's so much, you guys. There's so much misinformation out in our industry that it's unbelievable. And I love the fact that you're dispelling and dispersing that, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the reason I think that you and I have created a nice connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Right off the bat.
Because there's some manufacturers that don't feel that way.
I've worked for them. Remember, I've been in the industry a long time, worked for many manufacturers just as you had. So that's why I got out of this. I don't even go to the hair shows anymore. Yeah. I just can't stand it. It's just so much crap. Yeah. And I just can't take it. And that's why I love you, because you feel the same way.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the thing that drives me crazy is when I sit in those marketing meetings and they say,
I've been there.
You know, the hairdresser's not smart enough to know that.
You know, they're only a high school education. The only way they went to beauty school is because their parents forced them, because they have nothing else going on in their lives. Yeah. I go, wow.
That totally offends me.
Me too, because it's the best job in the world. Are you kidding me?
You
get to be creative. You can own your own business. It's entrepreneurial. You basically get to share with people all day long. You just got to be set up for dealing with all that energy.
That's right.
But you get to take a person that's maybe not a top model and bring out the best in them. And that, to me, was what excited me so much. Still does to this day.
Right. Well, that's why I tell people I really don't work.
Right.
You know, I'm in the life-changing business.
Sure.
They may not always tell me that, but there's plenty who have, who, you know, they come into you and they're a little hesitant about their looks and their appearance, and you do your magic. And now suddenly you've changed their lives.
You might bring them out of their cocoon.
Absolutely.
They may have great new opportunities in their life for them.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah. That's the best. That's the best thing about being that's the power of being a hairdresser. Ooh.
That is the power. We
liked it. Do we have any questions yet, guys? We're good? Okay. Hey, by the way, if you have any questions for Dennis, he's here. Let us know. Type them up, and the girls will let us know. Very good.
Great.
Now, what I want to get into is you have some work here
that
you've done. And I want to go slide by slide and talk about your concepts, your trends, and things like that.
Okay, that sounds great.
Wonderful. Let's see the first one, guys. What do we have here? Wow, this is gorgeous. Hello.
Yes, yes. Now, to me, this is what I call vivid colors.
Right.
And now, this was done. The haircut is what we call a patchwork haircut. The designer took the sections. We took like triangular sections off the head, sectioned them up, and point cut each section.
Yeah,
so there's no connection at all.
No, not at all.
Totally all disconnected.
So that's a matter of the way that it was styled, a lot of part of it. But you had to, in your head, think about color placement.
Exactly. So to me, when you're working with a designer and you're playing the role of the colorist only, you have to understand, number one, the shape, because the shape tells you where you're going to place color. Mm-hmm. Directional flow tells you how you're going to place color. You have to consider focus point, because every shape has a focus point.
Absolutely.
And that focus point helps you to determine either the concentration of color you're going to create there, or the tonal variations that you're going to use. And then you also have negative space. That's the face where you can't really change them physically, but you can change what happens around them.
That's how you frame it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you look at this design. Now, without the color in there, without the color placement, look at this design. Now, could I have gone in there and just done a regular solid color? Do you think that would have told the story of this design?
Not so dramatically, no.
Not so dramatically. No. Even doing a foil placement, you know, going through and foiling out the hair, not necessarily, it would look pretty, but it wouldn't tell the design. This has lots of drama in it.
Sure
so
does.
What we did is we went in, we resectioned those triangular sections, and we just overlaid different colors. We just overlaid different colors so that they all laid together, and you can see that we even have cools and warms on the same head of hair, which of course we're told is not nice to do. But here's the funny thing: you set a cool against a warm and you create a third color. You can't see it, but it creates that bridge,
creates a feeling,
or that marriage.
Yeah.
And so
now that's, I would consider that cut to be very geometric, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of hard lines there.
A lot of hard lines.
And that's like a Vizel Sassoon type thing.
Right.
And I've noticed lately, in the last 6-8 months, I'm noticing that coming back.
Yes.
However, as you and I know, from being in the 70s and the 80s.
Yes.
We know how to cut those. That's what we did. That's
That's
what we
right.
learned on.
That's right.
People now are all into the long layers, the loose thing, the curling iron. They're going to have to start learning these geometric patterns and
Right.
how to work with that if that's a trend. And
Right.
you know, trends change. So what's your
Yeah.
opinion on that?
Well, I think trends do change. I do believe that that is what we see happening in here, coming back. I believe it's a process of retraining always, because depending on when you entered the industry,
Yes.
it will tell you what you have in your data bank, if you will.
Yeah.
And so for those who have been in as long as I have,
Yes.
I always say to them, you never stop learning. You must always go and learn, and even relearning something you thought you knew before. Because even though might be a geometric, considered a disconnected geometric lines, you still have to understand there's new ways of approaching the way we cut the hair.
Like, remember the old wedge, how we used to cut it, and now we have the stack bob, and there's so many ways that
Exactly.
are great time savers that people have developed. And
Right.
that's why I constantly have, with Hairdresser Power, I want fresh blood. I want new ideas.
Right.
I want it to be channel neutral, and I think you really love that too.
Yes, I do.
And I think that's what Guru Village is about.
Yes, that is what we're about, and helping people, helping them develop their creative eye or their creative personality. I think everybody has creativity inside of them. I think that it requires coaching sometimes because sometimes in search of being creative, we create some very different looks
Yes.
that aren't necessarily
Sellable.
sellable.
Yeah.
So it's about being coached and developing that creative eye and that creative thought process so that you can develop something like this.
Well, one of the things that we may work on as a collab is taking these individuals that, for example, have this talent, but
Right.
they don't know how to convey that to other hairdressers.
Right.
And there's an art to that. And we've done that here
Yes.
with Angela, and we've done that here.
Right.
And with some of the individuals that we worked with.
Right.
But I think they almost have to have that gene where they're willing to put themselves out there. And the thing that I always tell them, because I've worked with a lot of hairdressers, trained a lot of them, is when you can do that, you learn about yourself and you become a much better hairdresser when you teach
Yes.
others. So
Yes,
what's your opinion on that?
absolutely. Yes. Working with others, brainstorming, discovering what that internal drive is for you creatively. I find that a lot of people, once they get into this business, they get comfortable.
Yeah.
Look, my job is to get up in the morning, go to work, do my work behind the chair, and go home. And then they wonder, well, why wasn't I thinking of something like this? Why wasn't I involved in this creativity? Because you didn't go that extra step.
That didn't work for me. In other words, when I saw that, where I was just in this rut, this schedule, which is great, full book, the whole bit,
right.
I just was like, I couldn't take it. It made me insane.
Right.
And then when I found out that when I started educating, I had an opportunity to work for companies like you did.
Right.
It made me excited about hairdressing again.
Right.
And you got to find that.
Yes. Well, one of the things we do with our team when we want to help them kind of stimulate their creative juices, we have an exercise that we go through. We bring them all in. We bring a bunch of magazines, Modern, American, Mademoiselle, all the magazines, and we put them out on a table. And we go through 5-phase exercise. First phase, I want you to go through the pages. I just want you to rip out pictures that really strike you. It could be a picture of anything, just you think it's nice, you think it's creative, pull it out, lay it on the table. Phase 2, then they go through there and they're allowed now to go through all the pictures. Doesn't matter who pulled the picture out and chose it, then they can take the picture if they don't think it's creative and they can throw it out.
Okay.
Until they get down to 5.
Okay.
They have to all unanimously agree that there is creative essence in those 5 photographs.
Okay.
Once they've done that, then the next step is they must write a story about what that has to do with fashion, what that has to do with the hair, how that can be applied in what we're doing in the
Making
salon.
that brain work.
You bet.
Did you ever see smoke coming out of their ears?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen them get into, because when they are pulling pictures out and they have to pick 5, I say, you have to sell me on why this one
Absolutely.
has to stay. And so they build that team energy to where they say, wow, we have a collection. Right. You didn't go and use someone else's collection. You didn't go and copy someone else's collection. You created your own collection. You now become the expert in your market, in your community.
Yeah, and on trend and everything else.
Exactly.
Right?
And
Like
so it's a great exercise to do. It's fun to do.
Well, you know, hairdressers working together is interesting as well.
Oh, it is.
Because it's not hurting sheep, it's hurting cats.
It is.
It is because they want, you know, they're all over. One's on the wall, one's hanging from the, you know, chandelier. There's one scratching the couch, and you got to figure out how to push the can opener, and they go, ooh, food.
Right.
And then they all come together for a moment.
Yeah.
And then some really amazing things happen.
They do. You know, and that's the reason that I love the feeling in a salon where everyone is positive about what's happening.
Well,
Everyone.
You know, that is so important right now, and that's one of the salon owners' challenges, is especially in the booth rental situation or even the commission situation, where how do I get my staff to believe in this group of people and this salon and this business, and they're all like trying to fight and separate. So there's ways they have to do it, and by coming together through creativity and unity and teamwork.
Right. If they do that, that creates an energy. And the interesting thing is that a consumer walks into the salon, they feel that.
They feel it.
You don't have to tell them how creative you are. They feel it when they walk in the salon.
Absolutely. And that's something that should be in high demand, to learn and create that for salons. And I think that's something that you offer that people don't realize. And this is a game changer for salon owners to get involved into this.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
A big deal.
Absolutely. It will increase their productivity.
Yes. And the stress. I've owned many salons, and even though we had a ton of free education, free back bar, free station setups, free everything, one bad apple gets in there.
Right.
And they start to have a negativity. And you immediately have to get and work with them and get people back on track. And it's just difficult in the salon environment. So constantly we have to reinforce that.
That's right. That's right. And we have to understand that we're a team.
Absolutely.
Even if you work in a salon where you all have your own little station.
Still a team. It's
You're
still a
team.
unit.
You affect the clients of the people you work with. We used to do a survey with our clients, and we would send out we would have a service who called them back and asked them questions like, how was your visit? You know, how did the music strike you?
Right.
All of this. We were trying to get feedback from the consumer so that we would know how to provide for them, what their expectations were, how to exceed their expectations. And one of the questions was, would you refer your friends, and would you return to the salon? And I had a client who was my client, Rita Robinson, and she wrote, I'm considering not returning. So the service called me and they said, you have a client here that said she's considering not returning. And so I immediately went to the phone, I called her and I said, Rita, what's the problem? I mean, what, have I done something, or is there something I can do to get you to reconsider? She goes, it's not you. And I went, what do you mean it's not me? I'm the one who does your hair. She goes, you may be the one who does my hair, but, and she named one of our team members. She said, he hitchhikes on our conversation and he uses language that I don't approve of.
Right.
And because of that, I don't have to be exposed to that kind of behavior, and that's why I'm considering not returning. Now, how many of you would like to have to deal with that with a team member saying, dude, you're affecting my clientele.
Yes.
I don't do their hair. Well, it doesn't matter. You're still affecting my clientele.
Right.
So that's why that's so important.
You're always on stage.
Understand.
You're always there.
We're
people are
all
always
team
watching.
members. We're always team members. It's important for us to keep that positive energy moving in the salon.
Absolutely. Well, we have a question.
We do. Good.
Yes, we do. It says, for new stylists in the industry, what would you say is the number one thing to do to build a clientele? Huh, that's a big one.
Okay. Number one thing to do. First of all, practice good people skills. Practice good people skills, meaning that I always tell new hairdressers, if your people skills are good and your technical skills are mediocre, you can still be wealthy.
That's how I did it.
Conversely, if your technical skills are really good and your people skills are poor, you will starve.
I've seen a million people like that. I always tell people that, you guys, look,
Yeah.
you're better than me as a hairdresser. Maybe I'm faster because I respect their time,
Right.
but I learned the techniques, and the thing is, I always put the customer first. Like in a lot of color classes, people are like, I want to do this and I want to mix 4 colors together. And I go, wow, who are you doing hair for? And they go, oh, yeah, the
Right.
client, not you.
That's
not
right.
to make some crazy concoction to put on their head because you're trying to be cool,
Right.
but you need to make them look beautiful, and you need to make sure that what you give them is something they can maintain, right?
Right. Right.
And that's people skills.
Yes,
all day long.
absolutely. So for new hairdressers, what I always recommend is you have to get out and build relationships. Remember, more than anything else, this is a relationship building business. You know, statistics say that 83% of the reason clients return to their hairdresser, the same hairdresser, have nothing to do with technical skills. It has to do
Unless their color fades and then they're gone. That's number
That's
one
right.
reason you lose them. But go ahead.
It has to do with that relationship that you built.
Absolutely.
So it's about building a strong relationship with people. So I would get out in the community. I would meet people. I would do whatever it took to create those connections with people. Sometimes we're afraid to connect, and especially because in beauty school they didn't teach us how to interact.
No.
You know, when I went to beauty school, if you could cut it off, paint it, roll it up,
You had to roll it up, yep.
they would say, "Hey, give me a high five,
Yeah, right there, baby.
rock and
Get
roll,
on. Here
baby,
you
have
go."
a great life."
Yeah, how do I build my
They
business?
didn't tell me I had to know I had to like people and I had to talk to them.
Yes.
So if you're shy, I have an exercise for you. I want you to go to the mall, your local mall. Okay, it's called the 2-hour mall exercise. Okay, you're going to park your car, you pick any mall you want. You're going to go into the mall and you're going to walk up and you're going to meet people for the next 2 hours.
I like it.
You're going to figure out how you're going to say, "Hi, how you doing today? You know, is the weather great?" You're going to spontaneously create a conversation with those people simply because you want to practice those skills of connecting with another human being.
Yeah.
You know, I always say the first 10 seconds that two human beings come together, they're making a decision on whether or not that relationship is going to be good. Now, see, I wish I'd have known that in high school.
I knew because I knew that because I called it my 10-second rule for picking up on chicks. No, I did.
Yeah.
And I would just go for it within 10 seconds, and it's a yes or no. They make the decision already.
That's right.
The woman decides, not the man.
Yeah, that's right.
And I knew that, and that's
Yeah.
why I was pretty good with the ladies because of that. Yeah.
So if you can make a connection
Yeah.
within those first 10
10-second rule.
seconds, it really is going to stabilize it, and people are going to really start to have confidence in you. It also helps you when you're seeing a new client, and if you're a
Absolutely.
new hairdresser.
Connect.
Because inevitably, the first question, if you're a new hairdresser in the salon, and the client, usually I got whatever the leftovers were, okay?
Me too, yeah.
Or if somebody came in an emergency and they had no openings, I got her.
Yeah.
And the first question, inevitably, out of their voice, out of their mouth was, "So, how long have you been doing hair?" You know, and my salon owner said, "Well, you did hair at home, right?" I go, "Yes." She goes, "Count that."
Yes.
And you did beauty
Since
school,
you're
right?
6, right?
Count beauty school. So here I was, you know, one month into the beauty industry. I've been doing hair for 3 years.
Yeah, you're good. Makes them feel more comfortable.
Yeah, so that's what I would recommend. As a new hairdresser, it's about building relationships, building that trust. We call it a trust intersection. When you achieve that moment, and you know when that moment's achieved, because that client's head is going, she's nodding back and forth.
Like I'm doing to you
Yeah,
right now.
you're
'cause
doing to me right now.
I'm listening to the gospel. I like it. I'm a hallelujah right here.
When you've reached
Yep.
that, then you are in the driver's seat, and I think that's what I would say to new hairdressers. I'd also say don't be disappointed. You know, some people are not going to like you.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to like you because of the way you part your hair.
Yeah.
They're not going to like you because you wear glasses.
Yeah.
They're not going to like you because you're too old.
It's about 50-50 with me in general. And then,
Yeah.
but I want the ones that like me because I don't want to work that hard.
And the great thing is, you can have
Yes.
that.
Absolutely.
You know, my friend Anthony Persado talks about you can choose the clients you want to work on. No one says that you have to work on clients that create grief.
That's true.
So if you have that client that's on your book and you like need medication before she comes in because she sucks all the oxygen
I
out
call
of
them
the room.
psychic
Yes.
vampires. Psychic vampires. Yeah, I would charge them triple, and if they left, that's okay.
Yeah, right.
But what I want to do is have so many clients waiting to be in my chair that I don't have to work on
You
them.
bet. You
That's the
bet.
goal.
And you can do that. And your goal should be to not have to have stress.
Right.
I mean, my clients, I love every client that comes to see me. Now, are they all perfect people? No. Do they have some idiosyncrasies? Yes. Do any of them suck the oxygen out of the room? No.
Right. Because that I can't deal with.
Because I've eliminated
I
those
wouldn't
people.
even look at my books when I was first starting out because I knew certain people and I'd stress out about it. I'd literally go, oh, and you just start obsessing about that, dealing with that person. And it almost ruins your whole day.
Right.
And then eventually when I could eliminate them, I was like, this is the best.
You bet.
Yeah, I'm
You
with
bet.
you.
So that's
All right.
what I recommend.
Do we have anything else? Okay, let's look at the next one. Wow, that led us down a path, didn't it?
All right, this
Wow,
is
beautiful.
the reason I sent this to you is because there's a lot of controversy online about what color platinum blonde is.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
This
Is it
platinum
gray?
blonde.
Is it silver? Is it white? Is it?
If it's silver,
you know,
it's
yeah,
silver blonde.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's gray, it's pewter blonde.
Yeah.
If it's this color, it's platinum blonde.
Yeah, true blonde, white,
White-
light blonde.
Yes, white light blonde, absolutely. And that's a 3-process color. In other words, we lighten the hair to palest yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Then we smoke it, meaning that we take our lightest silver or your ash shade that you have and you run it through the hair. So you want to flatten out all the yellow completely, no yellow in that hair. Then you put your platinum toner over the top of it. And that's how you get that true platinum blonde.
I love it. It's gorgeous.
So-
That's what a lot of people are. That's a trend right now. People are
is.
trying to, and then we want to keep the hair on the head. That's important.
Well, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
Double processing using
Yes.
bleach.
Yes.
I have never seen bleach used so much since the
Oh,
1980s.
It's wild. It's,
right?
I'm selling so much bleach.
I know you
we're
are.
loving it.
I
yeah.
know you are. But here's the thing that we have to realize is that when we bleach hair, and we'll talk about bleach specifically, in order to lighten this hair, I have to degrade the protein structure
Yes,
in
you
the
do.
hair.
Yep.
My client, Tim Wolf, he's an anesthesiologist. I was asking him one day, I said, so what do you do exactly? He said, well, I take people to the edge of death and I hold
Basically.
them there
Yes.
until the doctor finishes his job,
And
then I bring them back. And I went, oh my God. He goes, what's wrong? I go, you're talking about hair.
Yeah,
He said,
you are.
what do you mean? Because when I bleach a head of hair,
Take it to the edge of
I
death.
take it to the edge of death,
Yes.
just to the very edge,
Yes.
and then make sure there's enough structure left in it so the color will hold.
Yeah.
And then that's how I do the color. But there is no such thing as lightening hair with no damage.
Well, because think about it. I always ask people in my classes, and anytime I want to have some fun, I go, so where does the color go? Did it go down the drain? And they go, it's like, who made God? You know, in a way.
Right,
it's one of those questions. They're like,
Right.
and they just go blank. And
Exactly.
I'm talking, you know, I've trained thousands and
Yes.
thousands of people.
Right.
And not one
Right.
has got that yet. And we know what happens. You're damaging the hair, you're breaking up the color molecules, and then you see through it.
Exactly.
You know, but some people literally think,
Right.
and doing hair for many years, they think that it's going down the drain. I didn't see it going down the drain. Did you?
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
taking it to the edge of death.
Yeah.
And we got a question.
Okay.
And I wonder if it's about bleach. Let's see here. What are your favorite platinum toners?
Ooh. Okay.
Here it goes.
Well, let's see. I guess I can talk about.
You can talk about any brand, any name. This is totally channel neutral here.
Okay, great. I think my favorite platinum toner is made by a company called Leighton House.
Okay.
Okay, and it is 10.117. It's a level 10 matte ash.
Okay.
Okay, and it is stunning. And I mix it with equal parts of clear, so I dilute it.
Okay.
I mix it with a demi-developer, 1.5% demi-developer, and glaze over the top of it, and it gives me stunning snow white hair.
Okay.
Okay, another one is they have a toner called Frost, which is exactly what it says.
Yeah,
it
you
is
just
frost.
throw it on and frost it.
Mix it equal parts with clear, and tone the hair with it, and it makes the hair snow white, snow bunny white.
Did we have another question? No, good. That's a
Okay.
good question.
Okay, Redken has some good toners in the Shades EQ family. You know, Platinum Ice, of course, a lot of people use. I don't use Platinum Ice,
Okay.
but I use Orchid for my
Okay.
Platinum toner.
All right.
Here's why. In 1996, okay, Redken changed the formula in Platinum Ice. They added gray to it.
Right, and that's not what you want.
And so now when people put Platinum Ice on the hair, it starts to go gray. That's why they only leave it on the hair for the first 3 or 4 minutes. But they didn't add gray to Orchid, which was at a level 3.
Okay, so
Okay.
that'll just
So
give
here's
you
my
that-
recipe.
That base.
1/8 of an ounce of orchid,
Okay.
2 ounces of crystal clear, and 2 ounces of processing solution. The most beautiful platinum toner you've ever seen.
Wow.
Pure platinum.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good advice, you guys. Hope you wrote that down.
There you
if
go.
not, watch this and share this interview. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Ooh, nice. Now, who did that cut?
Pardon me?
Did you do that cut, or was that?
My wife did that cut.
Oh, okay. So you're working together.
Yeah.
Good.
And so what we've done here is we just wanted to add a little bit of tone to, we wanted to mix it up, dark and light, okay?
Yeah.
So we used, we lightened her hair out first, then I went through and I took triangular sections, and it goes all the way around. You can only
Did
see...
you take it from the top? Did you work from the top?
Yes,
Yeah.
and work back towards the nape. So it's
Okay,
sort of
yeah.
a diagonal
Got it.
all the way across.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
going down and edge and through.
Right, and then we brought it into with level 1 black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just kind of went through the scale and
Right.
then hit it underneath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we just thought it was very striking to do.
I like it. I like
And
the
again,
necklace too, by the way. Nice
That's my
piece.
wife's.
Yeah, that's a nice piece. Yeah.
And the thing is that it's really simple. It's not, see, sometimes the magic is in simplicity.
Yeah, less is more sometimes.
Right. You
Know
don't-
when to stop.
Yeah, you don't have to do 200 shades.
Yeah, you might not want to improve it into a mistake.
That's right. That's right.
I love that. That's
Absolutely.
great advice.
So I just wanted to give you an idea. You can do it with blondes too.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be fantasy
It's nice.
shade.
It's very nice. And what do we have next? We have another one here. Okay, this is a really commercial look.
That's a
Yes, I
very,
love
very
it.
commercial look. That is done with 38 foils
Okay.
on that
All right.
entire head of hair.
What kind of sectioning were you doing
38
there?
foils, and what we did was we worked across the nape line. We did 6 foils in the nape. We did 8 foils across the upper of the back shape of the head.
Okay.
We did 3 on each side here, and then we did what we call a diamond pattern through the top, but we staggered the foils. In other words,
Like offset them.
we did a first set, and then we did 1/8 of an inch drop back foil, 1/8 of an inch drop back on the next one, until they got smaller and smaller, and then that's what we were finished with.
Okay, now I want to talk about since we're into foiling right now.
Yes.
You know, the baby lights and the micro foiling and all
Right.
that stuff. So, what's
Right.
your opinion on that?
Well, I think that, baby lights are, that is a microweave, is
I know.
really basically
Well,
what it is.
Some
but-
people call it different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, when I teach my staff, I teach them, there's actually 10 different stitch patterns that you can use.
That you'll use. Okay.
Yeah, one's called a micro stitch, which is a very, very fine mesh.
Yeah, it's like you could read a newspaper through it.
Absolutely. One's called a regular stitch, where you get more a wider separation between the strands. Then we have a ribbon stitch, where you take a large wide section, drop it, next section.
Yeah.
And what that creates is those wider pieces, but it still keeps it very, 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 very thin.
Yeah.
Then we have a slice, which is simply a slice,
Sure.
just straight across the top. Most hairdressers use that because
Yeah.
it's easy,
Yep.
but it really is not always giving you the effect that you want it
Yeah,
to.
like I noticed lately, I've watched trend, and those micro and the baby lights are really coming up in the
Yes.
last few months, big
Yes.
time. Okay, and then I don't want to forget this question. What about shadow rooting with those combinations? What do you feel about shadow rooting? What do you feel about root structure? How are you going to color the roots? What are you feeling right now?
Well, roots are still very, very cool. Shadow roots or stretch
Right.
root or, extended scalp area.
Yeah, you
what-
remember the 80s, we got all the way down
Yeah.
on that base.
Right.
Through the
now
90s
you don't,
almost. No.
Now you don't do that. Even if you're getting close, it's about how you handle your brush. So rather than taking the brush and setting it on the horizontal, right on the edge of the foil, you use your brush more on a vertical.
Yeah.
And you use like the
So
heel
perpendicular
and
to
toe.
the section.
Yeah, perpendicular, heel and toe. And then you just feather it.
I agree.
Feather it
So,
in.
okay, then what about backcombing?
Some people do that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That separates the hair in advance, and then
Yes.
you can even stitch after that if you
Right.
wish to make it a more diffused.
What do you feel about the time consuming aspect of that, or the after effects?
For me personally, I don't
Yeah.
find a need to do that.
Okay.
I think by alternating your stitches and watching your brush work on the inside.
I think so. I
make a
think
huge
watch the
difference.
edges,
Yeah.
and your edges are your emphasis, and obviously you don't want to overlap.
Right.
And I think I've seen really good results that way now.
Right.
People are getting the handle on it, I think.
Yeah. I think with foiling, as with permanent waving, understanding the bevels, the flats and the rounds of the head are very, very important. For many of us, we weren't taught that.
Right.
You know, and here's what we know. If I take a section of hair, if I'm foiling, and I take a section of hair from one bevel and another bevel, and I pull them together and I highlight, when I release it, it's going to separate. And it's not going to fall where I want it to.
No, not at all.
So there's 8 bevels on the head, and if you don't know the bevels on the head, you need to go to a class where they teach that.
This is important, see? That's why we're trying to kind of incentivize you guys to make you realize that it's going to make your life easier. This education thing, this education stuff doesn't have to be a lie. It could be the truth. We could actually help you.
Right.
And that's why I'm talking to you, because I know that's what you're providing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, of course, you know, perms are coming back.
Yeah, I know we talked
about that. Let me say it again. Perms are coming back.
I know.
Let me say it again. Perms are coming back.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
But they're a different approach to them.
Yes.
Okay? Different approach.
I mean, you're not going to use red rods and bricklay it?
Well, no, not necessarily. That's not what we're doing. Actually, we're really creating undulation in the hair.
Yeah, texture. Again,
just texture. Yeah. Bent hair, for example, that's really what you're trying to create. Yeah. And so there's a way when you wrap today that if you wrap working with the bevels of the head shape, you use less rods and you get an overall nice effect in the hair.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It gives you an option.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, we have a question here. How do you get clients to transition their usual color to different color when they don't like change?
Oh.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, let's talk about clients now. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, first rule.
Yeah.
Client doesn't have that choice.
Oh, okay.
Okay? When I do my first consultation with a client, I say to the client, I'm going to be changing your hair on a regular basis. It'll depend. It'll be seasonally done. It'll also depend upon how you care for your hair. It'll also depend upon, you know, what we're trying to create. I said, but I want you to know up front that I'm going to change your formula.
Set the rules of the relationship initially. Exactly. I like that. That's
exactly.
Good. Yeah, I always.
And that way, then there is no question about changing their formula.
Yeah.
Here's the problem: if you don't change their formula. Now, in my salon, we're required to change our client's formula every 90 days.
You got them locked and loaded. They're not going anywhere else.
So, here's why we do that. So that it creates a freshness in the relationship. Because clients, we don't lose clients. Nobody steals our clients. We give them away. And the biggest way we give them away is by boring them. Because we do not make the change. Because here's the problem, I see it. This is just my vision. Okay. I see number one.
You're allowed to have one.
We do not book ourselves and leave open spaces. I always leave open spaces. It's like if you go to a restaurant,
there's a couple of tables.
There's always a couple of tables.
And you just throw them 100.
Just in case.
Yeah, here's a Benji, take care of me.
And here's why I do that. Because the client comes in and she says, hey, I want something different today. Yeah. And you go, oh, wait, I didn't program creativity into your appointment today.
Yes.
Today was all function.
Yeah.
You're supposed to sit there and let me just do the color
I
was going to do on you. So I leave spaces open for those moments when you want to change clients' formulas or when clients want to change. But we also have to change them every 90 days. And so if they're due in this week and their color is due to be changed, their hairdresser is already going to say, hey, how are you? I've been thinking about you all week.
Right.
She's not lying.
You're special.
Because all week she knew that this client was coming in and it was time for her to change her formula.
Period,
That's right. And that way it creates and makes it easier for you to make the adjustment. That's why hairdressers have a problem switching brands, right?
Yeah.
Because they find a color, they really would like to change it, but they go, oh man, I've got to learn this color because it's different than this color. And you say, wait a minute, why do you tell them what color you're using? My clients don't know what color I use. They know that I color their hair, and they know that they're happy with it, but they don't come to me for a brand specific.
No.
And so it's not about learning a new brand, it's about understanding that if you create that, I mean, like if you go and ask Gordon Ramsay, will you tell me your recipe? He's going to say, no, Unless you want to really pay me.
Right, yeah,
you
exactly.
You want
yeah.
to come to one of my classes?
Sure.
I'll tell you some of my recipes, not all of them.
Teach you, yeah.
You know, but that's what we're into in this industry today. Do you know there are hairdressers today that they have the chair right at the front window, client pulls up in the parking lot, hairdresser is mixing her formula in the bowl before she ever comes into the salon.
Yeah, I believe it.
And what happened if she was on vacation for a couple of weeks and now her mid-lengths and ends have lightened?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
And now she's loaded with chlorine.
Right.
Because she's been in the jacuzzi, and that's going to be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Clarifying spray, just say.
yeah. So I would say put yourself in the driver's seat to begin with.
Yes.
They want you to be in the driver's seat.
They do.
Trust me when I tell you this. They want you to be in the driver's seat, and you'll never have that issue about, changing their formula because they don't want to.
They'll trust you, and you'll build that relationship the right way.
Exactly.
Love it. Good. Well, let's see what we have next. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
It's a cool one. This is having fun, right?
Yeah, this was great fun to do. She, again, a very geometric cut in the front, but very shattered. And of course, very shattered and feathery down below.
What was her starting level?
Her starting level was level 3.
Okay.
Okay.
So you had to lift her up and tell us what you did there.
Yeah, I took a section, just a crescent moon section across the side of her head. That would be in bevels number 1. And then we took that entire corner, bevel number 8, isolated those, pre-lightened them. Okay, and we pre-lighten them up to about a level 8.
Okay.
And then we put an intense pure red on them.
Yep, direct eye.
And I just love the contrast of that.
I like the fade you got there on the side, the transitional panel. That looks good.
Yeah, I think that what it does is it gives a nice, contrast of color. It's striking. To me, again, that's what I call vibrant, vivid color.
Right. There's now a lot of people are doing what we call, the unicorn, the blending, the pixelization, all that, which is a completely different style than this.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always try to keep in mind that, it's my vision of what I consider to be beautiful.
Right.
When people, I always say when they want to see beautiful hair color, it starts with the first 2 words, beautiful hair.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're not appropriating beauty in that, for me personally as an artist, it doesn't work well.
Okay, now you might or might not want to answer this question. You don't have to, but, and I generally ask this to people.
Sure.
When you're doing that type of work, or the corrective color work, how do you charge?
Oh.
Because, that's a big controversy right now.
Yeah, great question. I charge by the hour.
Okay.
And so I know what my production rate per hour is. Whenever I'm doing color correction, it is always double my production rate, my hourly production rate.
Because it's more intense, is that why?
More intense, and because there's going to be more steps, you're going to have to use more product. If you charge by the service, you need to consider everything. And here's a rule of thumb I always use. Cost of product should never exceed 10% of the service fee.
Okay.
So if you use $30 worth of product, you better be charging $300.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people that use a tub of bleach or more for these long-haired looks. And then I ask them sometimes, I said, hey, how do you charge? And they go, well, I just feel bad charging so much. What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them that, number one, they have to have better value in themselves.
Okay.
I think in our industry, I think it's because we are told a story. And we believe that story. You come to me to get your hair done, now suddenly you're my friend. You like me. So because you're my friend.
Because you're touching the person, you're shampooing their hair, it's a personal relationship.
Right.
Yes.
So I can't charge you because you're my friend. How would I tell you you have to pay me more money?
Right.
Okay? I have 2 words for you. Stop it. It's a business relationship.
Yeah.
My attorney taught me this when I opened my salon in the beginning. He came in and I said, look, I'm going to give you a little break. He goes, no, Do not give me a break.
I'm not going to give you a break.
I'm not going to give you a break.
Yeah.
Do not give me a break.
Let's keep it that way.
That's right.
It's better. It's easier.
Yeah, and you charge what you're worth. I think if you don't know what you're worth, you need to figure out what your hourly production rate is. That's pretty simple.
Yes.
Take all the dollars you produce in a month, divide it by the hours that you worked,
worked.
and it tells you how much you're producing per hour.
Right. And then have a goal too.
Yeah.
If it's too low, you might want to up
Right.
that goal. Yeah.
Absolutely. But anytime, I mean, I get frustrated as well when I see someone who's worked for 12 hours on someone to create a look, and they're very happy because
Right, and they got a great
creatively,
Instagram photo.
They
you
got
know?
a great Instagram photo, but I mean, I'm thinking, well, okay, so how would I charge for 12 hours? I mean, to me, that's like absurd.
Yeah. $1,200 at least, minimum. Not for
Minimum.
you. I know, not
Yeah.
for you. But who's going to pay $1,200 to have their hair done? Very few people.
Very few people.
So maybe it's a conversation you need to have before that process started.
Exactly. Or maybe you don't have to go all out to do something. You can create a look like this.
Now you know I ask you the question.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so my cost of product to create this was nominal.
They're
right?
absolutely nominal.
But I charged her more. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it was my vision.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, you have to charge for your vision. I mean, if you hired an interior decorator to come
Yeah.
in and decorate your house,
Yeah.
and if they moved one sofa from this side of the room to the other side of the room, they'd charge you for that.
They would.
And you'd say, well, why are you charging me for that? It's because I knew to move it from there to there.
Yeah, and you didn't because you would have done it if you did, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. So
So-
good answer. Pretty good
Yeah.
answer. I mean, it's a constant battle with people between
It
you know
is.
their creativity and what they'll charge for it. So bottom line is,
Well, I think sometimes we have low self-esteem, Patrick.
I agree.
I think that, you know, I've had them say to me, well, I can't raise her prices because she brings me cookies or she brings me Christmas cards or she's a single mom.
Right.
And I always say to them, I go, missionary, cosmetologist, two different career paths.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
I know.
look, it is what it is. You are a professional. You have to be willing to charge what your time is worth, at least what your time is worth, when you're doing a service.
Yeah, and the thing
know?
is, I always tell people, look, that might be cool right now, but as you have more demand for that seat,
Right.
more people want that chair, that's when you do it. You
That's
have to
right.
do it.
That's
And you have
right.
to be ready to do that. That's
That's
called
right.
progression of your business.
That's right. That's why when I see someone who says I'm booked for 3 months, I go, well, you're not charging enough money.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, because
You know, good old my buddy Alan Bush, good friend, just talked to him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He said, guys, you know, you need to always strive to raise your prices.
Right.
But there is a point and a threshold that you'll know, okay,
Right.
I'm at that threshold for now.
exactly.
And it's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Value added, not discount, by the way.
That's right. Value added is so important.
Yeah,
And you know, here's the funny thing. Clients measure value on so many different things.
sure do.
And it really may not have to do with the way you do their hair. I always teach the 5 senses. Okay, what do they see? Okay, what's your salon look like when they walk in? All right, what do they smell? Do they smell perms?
Brazilian blowout.
Or do
No,
they
just kidding.
smell? Do they smell blowout? You know,
Ugh, I
smoothing
can't even take them
services?
anymore. I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, they make me so sick immediately. I can't have that. So you got to think of that. That's other
right.
people too.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
What do they hear?
Oh yeah.
You know, I have a constant discussion with our people, and they say, "Well, I don't like that music. This is my music. It gets me in my groove." Well, look, it's not about your groove. It's about the clients.
Earbuds.
That's right. That's right.
Those are cool, right?
Yeah. You know, and so it's like, what do they see? What do they smell? What do they hear? What do they taste? Are you serving refreshments?
Right.
Well, I mean, I had a client who considered not returning because the cup of coffee she got one day was not fresh ground, because we always grind fresh coffee beans.
Right. That's nice. Nice touch.
Okay, and I was shocked. I went to the back room. I said, the client said that she didn't get fresh ground coffee today. Oh no, we ran out, and so we just ran over to the market and got a can of MJB.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Meet or exceed expectation, right?
yes, absolutely. And then what about the touch? You know, the handshake, the shampoo, you know, the massage, scalp massage if you give it. Do you leave a wet towel around their neck, or do you remove the wet towel from their neck? Do you sweep your station after you cut it before you blow dry the hair, or do you just turn on your blow dryer with your floor full of hair?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And just start blow drying the hair.
But big things.
Yeah.
Little things that are big things.
So to me, those are the things that make a huge difference, and that's that added value.
It is added value. Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Do we have another question, guys? No, we're good. Let's look at the next picture. I think we have one more.
Again,
Oh yeah, there you go.
this is
Real geometric. It's a bob. It never goes
bob.
away.
It's a bob, and it's geometric, and it looks hot,
Yep.
and it is timeless.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and
that color is.
that is a
Now you went all the way down to the scalp on that,
all
didn't
the
you?
way down.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what's your theory on that?
Huh?
Let's talk about going off scalp and on scalp. Just a
Okay.
quickie.
If you're going to be on scalp, I always do my on scalp second. I always do off scalp first. But the way I do a full scalp blonde is I use what I call the isolation method. That means I take foils and I slice the mesh, lay it in the foil, and color it right up to the edge of the foil.
Okay.
So I'm covering the head in foil.
Okay.
Two reasons that I do that. We know that if I take a fine mesh like that, it's going to process much quicker.
Yes.
We also know by isolating it in the foil, it's going to allow the hair to accelerate its lift a little bit.
Yeah.
Then once I've done that through the entire head, then I go back in and I lay in my product at the scalp area. And I usually use the lower volume because the scalp area is going to respond much more dramatically.
Absolutely. Slow and low?
Pardon me?
Slow and low? Or
Slow and low,
high,
yeah.
Yeah, slow and low. Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to, I don't use high volume as a developer. I find it's totally unnecessary to do that. The only place I use 40 volume is with high lift tints. And that would be the only place, or even in a progressive weave if I'm taking a long time to put the placement in.
Where do you like to start generally, or does it depend on the individual?
You mean where I do the placement?
Yeah, where do you start your
I
work?
start in the back.
Yeah. Because?
Because the back is the darkest portion of the head shape.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Thank
you allow that to process for a longer period of time.
And if it breaks back there, not so bad, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Good advice.
So,
right on. So do we have any more pictures?
I think that's it.
Any more questions? We're good. Oh, we do have a question. Here it comes. It's coming across the bow here.
Okay.
She's typing it on in. So you guys, the thing is that Dennis, like you say, he's online all the time, every day. Something going on. We got the morning coffee talk that's on Sundays now.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
we're doing
We'll
that.
get this question up.
Michael Van Horn and I decided one day that we were going to do like just a coffee chat.
Sure.
Because one of the things that my team told me when I was doing social media in the beginning, and I was doing Periscope and things like that, they said, you know, you're not really warm and fuzzy. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm a pretty warm and fuzzy guy.
If you know him in person, he's super warm and fuzzy, everybody. Come on now.
And so I said, okay, so I'll try to be more warm and fuzzy. And so
you need a Snuggie, that's all. You'll be okay.
So we said, let's try it in a conversational type of setting and see how that works. So we did the first one. We got a huge response from those people who follow us. And they said, we love listening to you guys. And we ran overtime on the video, right? We said, we're going to make this a 15-minute video. It ended up being a 43-minute video. They still watched it. I was shocked that they would actually watch my video for 43 minutes.
Well, you know what we do with our videos here? This is a 45-minute video or whatever.
Right.
But we'll take out the segments, the real pearls of wisdom.
Right.
We'll take them down to 58 seconds. We'll provide them for you and for ourselves, and that way it stimulates people. If they want to see the full interview, they go into YouTube and then they get the subscription. So every time there's a new person, we send it to them. That's their option, correct?
That's a great.
Yeah, I think it's a
thing
pretty
to
good
do.
concept.
Yeah.
I like people to make the choice, not us make it for them. Yeah.
So we started doing this, and Michael is funny. He is a funny guy, cracks funny jokes. And so it's now turned into a thing. And so now we've decided we're going to do it regular.
Good. On every Sundays, right?
Yeah. And we've got like 2 little coffee cups, and we've got our little emojis.
You can use this if you want.
I can?
I'm okay with that. Just kidding.
And our 2 little emojis on there.
Yeah, that's
and then
cool.
it goes into the video. And it's just been really fun.
Awesome,
It's
Dennis.
been so much fun. reaching out and having people in our classes. I mean, we have people from Albania that have been in
That's
our
amazing.
online
That's
classes,
amazing.
which shocks me, and Australia.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew
And,
about
you
this.
know,
I didn't know
so
about Albania. That's
we're like a little stage, but a huge reach.
yeah. And you know the beautiful thing is that the internet, if used correctly, it can become a prison. You know that if you use it wrong, you
Right.
can be obsessed with it.
Right.
But if you use it right, well, it really extends your reach.
It does.
It's wonderful. And then we
Yeah.
do have a question here, and this is a pretty good one. I like it. It says, "Do you pull foils before you apply to scalp, or do you leave them on?"
Oh, great question.
Yeah,
I pull
really
the
good
foils.
question, whoever. Yeah.
I pull the foils first
Okay.
because once I've
back in.
achieved that lift, well, what I actually do is you just lift them up, paint at the scalp
pull it.
area, and then pull it off.
Yeah.
Lift them up, paint at the scalp, pull it off.
So
Because-
do you leave them on until you decide whether you're going to have a reapplication too? Is that, is that
I do,
probably gonna-
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause just in case, right?
Right. Just in case, you watch them as they lift. And the thing is, if you take fine meshes,
You don't need a reapplication.
you know,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have to go back in and reapply or spotlight in the hair.
That's a
at
good
all.
question, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, you know, Dennis is going to be doing some classes on that. He probably already has them archived. So if you want to find out more, because there is a technique to it, just
Yes.
definitely go on Guru Village, right?
GuruVillage.net. You can go there. We also have a YouTube channel that would be under Dennis Gebhart. So we have several
Awesome.
videos on our YouTube channel as well. We invite you to follow us on our IG page, which is at Captain Color.
Okay, and it's right there. We put it
on
right here.
Facebook.
Right on the bottom.
There he is.
Right there.
There we
There
go.
you go.
And then we have a Facebook page, Guru Village Facebook page.
Okay.
And yeah, on our website, we've got, we publish a monthly newsletter, so they can subscribe for Club Guru.
All right.
So monthly newsletter, usually we've got some good, Michael says, I always wanted to have meat in it. I always tell him it's
Yeah,
got to have meat.
Some meat, yeah.
So it's not just fluff, it's got meat in it.
I love it.
And we've got all of our classes posted up there.
Okay.
And so you can purchase and register for classes online. We've got some upcoming classes coming up here. Well, next week, I'm doing a complimentary 1-hour session on my performance engagement training.
Okay.
So for those who want to get a taste of what we're doing,
Right.
you can register for it. And it's a 1-hour overview of what our system believes it takes to be a good facilitator and things of that sort. I also have a color correction online class coming up.
That's when their brains hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
And that's called Master the Disaster. And what
Yeah.
we
Oh,
do,
I love that. Master Disaster.
yes,
I love it.
and we send them out. They're a mannequin and tripods, so they can actually, we're going to do hands-on.
Oh, I love it.
So all they need is a laptop and a mobile device, and they can do their mannequin. I'll do the mannequin, and we'll walk them through color correction.
I love it. We have another question before we leave here.
Okay.
And what is in your opinion, what is the best way to remove direct dye in general? I know there's not a one.
I wonder who asked that question.
I wonder who. Probably one of your buddies, huh? Yeah.
Could be, yeah. So for many of you who know me, you know that I created a system called naturalizing. That was my technique to help remove direct dyes. Here's the thing about direct dyes. Many people misunderstand what a direct dye is and how it works. Direct dyes, not only do they penetrate into the outer layers of the cuticle layer, but they also stain the cuticle. And I think people don't realize that, Patrick, that the cuticle is translucent.
It's an acid stain is what it
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And so when people try to just literally lighten the color out, they can lift some of those embedded dyes out, but the stain on the cuticle remains. Now, people say, well, that's why you don't use bleach, because if you use bleach, it's going to drive the color in further. That's not the way bleach works. It doesn't do that, right? So
yeah, that's crazy.
what I do is naturalize, meaning that let's imagine that I have pink and I'm trying to get rid of pink.
Yeah.
I'm going to add yellow to it.
Right.
And the reason I add yellow to it is because I know if I can make that hair yellow, gold, or even salmon or orange, I can pretty much make that hair any color that I want.
Absolutely you can.
And so once you've naturalized it, then you can go in with lightener and water. You don't even need peroxide. Lightener and water to kind of move that color out, because natural colors lift easier. Remember, it's all an illusion, right?
It's light reflecting back to your eye is all it ever is.
Exactly. You're not lifting anything.
No,
we
you're
say
not.
lifting,
No,
but
it's still
nothing,
there.
it's still there.
Yeah.
But it fractures easier and it gives you a more natural visual.
The tone, the tonality is much
And so
more
that's
acceptable.
how I would remove direct dyes.
Okay.
I do not use direct dye lifters. I do not use.
They're pretty toxic.
Yes,
Because
they
I
are.
researched the living, you know what, out of them
Yes.
because I wanted to make a safe, healthy one, and guess
Right.
what? Not so much.
Well, one of them that they call an eraser has ammonium persulfate, potassium persulfate, and sodium stearate.
Yeah.
It's a
And that-
bleach bundle.
And it's a bleach bundle, and the other ones are using some things that are way more toxic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've just done a lot of research on that.
So that's how I work with direct dyes. I always have success, and I say that to you, always have success. You saw me, I used direct, I did a video where I took splat, which everybody seems to think is the worst direct dye in the world, naturalized it, lifted it right out of there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know, so this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. That's the way I work.
Yeah, because why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
No, because the possum told him it could be done. And that's what's going on, right?
I mean, that's right.
Yeah, right, honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah, the possum's telling the chicken. Yeah, you
That's
got
right.
it. You
Got
got to get with some reality here.
That's
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
And that's a good word of advice because obviously you don't want to put more toxic things on your hair.
No.
And then your hair never recovers, and then you're like, wow, what's my fabric that I'm working with now?
That's right.
It's a damaged fabric that you can't repair at that
Exactly.
point. So
Exactly.
very important.
That's what they don't understand either, is that once a fabric is damaged, I mean, if I show you a scanning electron microscope photograph
I have 'em.
of a cuticle that's gone,
I know.
I'm sorry, I don't
Yeah.
care what you're using.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, you might want to get one more color for a wedding. Throw a little salt on there. You know, remember the old salt?
Of course, salt trick.
Salt trick's good.
Yeah.
I talk about that in some of my advanced classes as well. And people
Right.
are like, "Wait a minute! Everybody's told me the sulfates and salt and all this." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Just another one of those stories out there." That's why I love talking to you. But thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, my friend.
And they'll be able to check you out on all your websites as well as subscribe to Hairdresser Power, guys. It's channel neutral. You get amazing guys like this.
Yes.
A true guru, in my opinion. And thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, and congratulations on what you're doing for
Thank you.
Hairdresser Power. If you folks are watching this for the first time, I totally endorse what this man is doing here. I think it's great for the industry, and he's one of the special people. So
Yeah, and I don't even wear a helmet. And I'm
you
special.
don't even wear a helmet.
I'm good. I've mastered that. Thank you very much. Well, sometimes I do. I wear that helmet, you know, the hair stimulator helmet.
I
It looks
love
like
that.
Tron. Did you see that picture?
Yes.
Yeah, but anyways, that was fun. So
Good.
thanks so much, and we'll see you guys soon. See you next time, and thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bye,
See
guys.
you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.